Hello, my name is Kathy Walters, and I'm going to be your instructor for HIM 230, Quality Improvement in Healthcare. And I believe there's just a few of you that I have not had as students. So just want to take this time to get you acquainted with our course site on Moodle and show you how to navigate and explain a few things as you begin the quarter. So we'll scroll down here, and there'll be a YouTube link right here once I finish this that you'll click and start. So the instructor announcement and news forum is basically an area in which I post information regarding the course when I'm done grading assignments. It's a forced subscription, so you'll all get that. Course questions and student connection forum is just essentially an area for content related to the course if you want to share any information. If it's something of a more personal nature, it probably would be best to email me. Our online courses for me is a link from the college just to review what's entailed in taking an online course, and I will address that further in the course syllabus. So let's go ahead and go into the course syllabus and we'll take a look at that. So just have a little intro there, and then there is my contact information. My office hours for winter quarter will be Monday and Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. and I'm in Building 30. Room 206, and feel free to email me anytime. I'm good about responding to email. The required materials for the course is the textbook. I want to suggest to you to utilize the bookstore for this. Ahima Press is a little bit more proprietary. I mean, you can get onto that site, but this is the 6th edition, and the course hasn't been taught for at least a year, so it was the older edition, and there are ebook options available too. So I would first start in the bookstore. All right, and then instructional methodologies, a little bit about academic integrity and the code of conduct, various resources available, class participation with regards to online activities and online courses is quite important, and then my late policy. I do not accept late work, so please be mindful of the due dates each week, which will generally be Sunday evenings with the exception of week 1. Due to Lane's attendance policy, you must submit something graded in week 1, and the self-introduction forum, which I will explain in just a minute, serves that purpose, which will be due by January 12th, and that is mandatory. So, and then there's some learning outcomes, my grading policy, and then online attendance, and I do want to speak a little bit to that. So it's important that you get on at least every other day, and for those of you taking online classes, you know, life takes place, and sometimes you can't get on as frequently as you would like, but for those of you that haven't taken an online course, waiting until Sunday evening to participate is not a practice for success. And it's not a good practice for success for several reasons. Number one, you probably will not have a good command of the subject matter. But more importantly, if you have questions at the end of the week, it makes it difficult to address them late on Sunday evening. And then lastly, due to the 12-hour lockout on quiz attempts, if you start the quiz on a Sunday night, then you prevent your opportunity to be able to take the quiz again. So just a couple of pointers there for you. And then be sure to scroll all the way down, and then here is the entire course laid out. Most weeks it'll be case studies and either application activities, and then a final essay. So it's pretty straightforward in terms, some weeks there'll be 2 chapters, some weeks there'll be 1. Okay, so that's the syllabus. So I want to go back, and we'll go back to the course site. And so the first thing I'd like to do is I want to go down to week 1 here, and I want to go into the self-introduction forum, just for those of you that may or may not be familiar with the forum and how it works. So the instructions will be right here for you, and please post to the class forum an introduction of yourself to your colleagues and address the following. And so the instructions are right there. So what you'll do is you'll add a new discussion topic, and then as it's instructing there, please type your name in the subject box. So you'll type your name. Okay, and then you'll click down in the message box and you'll type all your information, and then be sure to scroll all the way down and then hit post a form. And there you go, I've got 2 of them in there. So that's what you need to do by January 12th, which is Thursday, by 23:55. Okay, so let's go back out now into the course, and I want to show you weeks 1 and 2, and actually week 3. So each week will be set up pretty much in the same fashion. I'll have the objectives of the chapter, and then obviously what needs to be taken care of. So do this week. Read the course syllabus, post your introduction about yourself to the student self-introduction forum, watch the quality improvement video, which is right here. And this is a great video. Edward Demings, Don Berwick, and Joseph Duran, and Walter Stewart, and many others are all great gurus with respect to organizational development theory, just-in-time manufacturing, workflow assessment, all sorts of things, performance management and quality improvement. It really started back in Japan back in the day, so in the late 80s, really. So anyway, you can watch that video, and then read Chapter 1 of the textbook, and then Chapter 1 PowerPoint slides, which are provided from the publisher. I do want to just make a mention that, viewing the PowerPoint slides is not sufficient preparation for the review questions for the chapter or the chapter quiz each week, so just be mindful of that. The review questions are not timed, and you can complete those. There's typically 5. The chapter quizzes are 25 minutes, and you have 2 attempts, but there is a 12-hour lockout. And I do go over the quizzes each week with an item analysis, so be sure you've familiarized yourself with the chapter prior to attempting those. Each week I will also have additional resources that are related to the chapter, and those are things that you can go back into throughout the entire course. So there's some great sites, and I just picked them from the chapter to put in here so it's easy for you to go into them and take a look. All right, Chapter 2 is very similar. So you're going to be reading Chapter 2, taking a look at the PowerPoint slides, doing the review questions, and then taking the quiz. And sometimes the points will vary only from the point of that the question may have like 5 parts, or there might be a little bit more involved in the question. So you'll see some variation, and you can refer back to the syllabus, those last pages in the syllabus, for the values of each week. And then again, here are some resources for Chapter 2. Peter Senge wrote a book in the early 1990s called The Fifth Discipline, which was about the introduction of the learning organization and what it was like for employees in organizations to learn more about how an organization actually learns and what goes on. Very, very great book, and I have it if anybody wants to borrow it, and I used to do extensive book club work with that book. It was quite interesting at the time. All right. Now, week 3 is the first week where you have 2 chapters and where we begin to start to do either an application activity or a case study. So again, same kind of setup, the objectives. And then here, read Chapter 3 and Chapter 4. Review Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 PowerPoint slides. Answer Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 review questions. Complete Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 quiz links, and then for Chapter 3 you have an application activity, and for Chapter 4 you have a case study. So let me go into this application activity just very quickly so you can see how it's set up. So lots of times I would always have like an explanation document to an assignment, but here I've put everything in the actual upload link. So and I'm copying from the book a lot of times just so you have it referenced right here. So this is a community hospital that's faced with a discharge, increased discharge, and there's some information there. And so I have down here, as illustrated on page 51, use the example of the affinity diagram and create a related diagram relative to the application described above. And then I go on to explain a little bit further there. So you'll understand that more once you get into the chapter and read about what's being asked of that application activity. And then on Chapter 4, case study, I will always try my best to copy the case study right into here. And so it's on page 7072, and then there are 3 questions that you need to answer. So again, you can read it right here. And then the case studies are down below here. In your opinion, is there an opportunity for improvement in this system? Why or why not? Is there room for improvement? Is a performance improvement team appropriate in this context? And then looking at the organizational structure of this particular hospital, you want to take a look at what departments and staff positions might you include and your rationale regarding that. And then you just submit that. Okay. All right, so I think that's pretty much a little bit of an overview about how the course is set up. And I wish you all the best in the new year and this new quarter, and I think we'll all learn from each other regarding quality and performance improvement in healthcare, and I think we'll have a good time. All right, thank you.